I absolutely admire Audi. And the only car ever that I bought that I felt did not have an ego was Audi. It's true. Every car I've ever bought pretends to be something that it isn't. Every time I got into an Audi, I was like, it's just right as it is. It's super well engineered. It gives the exact promise. I'm going to have to try to change your mind about something that you would only see if you look at the world from the inside of where I live. I live at Google X. Google X is a place where we build what we call moonshots. Moonshots are innovations that completely change the world as we know it and solve big problems that help humanity. So anything that you have actually seen in sci-fi is part of your life today, and you're completely taking it for granted. What is happening as well is because we used all of that technology, put it together in one place that we call the internet, everyone can innovate. We have a democracy of information that is very different than how I grew up. And now we are at a time where innovation is going to come from everywhere. The big companies have to do something different than what they're doing now if they want to continue to innovate, and the smaller companies will have to feed that innovation wave that's coming. As I told you, my objective today is to change your mindset. You understand? So the idea is, can you actually invent differently, not better? So there is a difference between radical innovation. Radical is unlike everything you've ever invented before, and incremental innovation, adding more horses to the cart. Take the example of cars, right? The auto industry has done a remarkable job. Like, it cannot be denied on car safety, right? You worked on crumble zones and airbags and all of that, and we did really well, and we saved lives when crashes happened. Then you started to say, oh, maybe I should actually realize that the driver is sometimes the reason for the crash, right? Maybe the answer is no driver, right? And so this kind of thinking is what we call moonshot thinking. And then when you work on a moonshot, you have to find the radical approach to innovation. Don't add more horses to the cart, right? And you need to find an affinity to the problem, not to the solution, right? Anyone can invent something that can improve a process or an engineering product by 10%, right? But that's not radical at all. Radical, as long as it is X%, you reject it, right? You aim for 10X. And 10X is a very interesting, we say unless you can find a radical solution, radical enough to change things by 10 times, tenfold, then it's not worth your time of innovation. The other thing that I really, really love, and the reason why I absolutely love working at Google X is this. We get married to the problem, not to the solution, right? So every solution that comes up that's not going to solve the problem is rejected. So these are my top 3 technologies today that you need to be aware of that have crossed the hockey stick, okay? They have crossed the hockey stick. Guaranteed, these are breaking out and are going to happen. One is machine learning, or what we call AI. The second is robotics, but robotics is very misunderstood by sci-fi movies. Robotics is not about hardware at all. Robotics is totally software. And then the final one is for virtual and augmented reality. And with virtual and augmented reality, you really have to start believing that there will be, situations where virtual reality is better than reality. If you had those 3, if you had a radical approach to innovation, what would the next car look like? I mean, with all due respect, by the way, if anyone wants to look at the Q8 outside, look at it, because I'm stealing it before I go home, right? It's astonishingly beautiful. It's amazing from a technology point of view. What would the Q8 in 2040 look like? And that's really the question we should ask.